morning, kiddos. This is Mrs. Neill. This is a very short video for you to help you begin to write letters in cursive. I thought we could chunk the letters maybe 4 at a time. Today we can work on A, B, C, and D. I found this handy little cheat sheet alphabet on a website called NicoleandAlicio.com. It was free. You can print one to have on hand. It's very helpful to tell you how to make each of the strokes for letters. Otherwise, the only thing you really need is pencil and paper. So my recommendation is to practice a few rows of each letter just to make sure that you can get the hang of it. So a capital A starts at the top line and curves down to the bottom line almost like a C. All right, so when you curve down, try to make it oval and then finish it by going back up to the top line. Here's where it gets tricky. You have to retrace that last line. Come back down and give it a little bit of a tail. So once you've mastered the capital A, you can certainly handle a lowercase a. So let's try that again. Start from the top line, make a little bit of an oval, back up, trace your final stroke, and give it a bit of a tail. Just like this. So I recommend just practicing a few of those till you get the hang of it. And as you can see from mine, they're all going to look a little bit different, but you will get the hang of it. So practice a few of these, and even if you have notebook paper that looks like this, you can do the same. Just practice. They'll be a little bit smaller. Practice a row or 2 or 5, whatever it takes for you to get the hang of it. Now, if you've mastered a capital cursive A, you can certainly handle a lowercase a. The lowercase a is exactly the same thing, only a little bit smaller, and you work between the midline and the baseline, and that's it. Same process, only smaller. A little bit of an oval, curve up to the top of the midline, and then trace your stroke again. Give it a little bit of a tail. So a bit of an oval up to the midline, retrace that last stroke. As you do more, they'll get better. All right, so make a line or a few lines of A's. You've done it. Good job. All right, now let's try the B. I had to use my cheat sheet to practice how to make a B. The way I was taught when you're writing in cursive, you never pick your pencil up. You keep your pencil or your pen on the line. This one I think might be a little bit trickier. Start at the top line, go down, retrace, and then a B, just like if you were printing a B. All right, let's try this one. Be patient with me. All right, your first line is just a straight line from the top to the bottom, only slanted a little bit. Now retrace, and this is where you're going to make your B. All right, make sure you add a loop at the middle, and then your tail comes back in from the bottom. So your straight line from your top line to your baseline, the first hump goes about to the midline, loop, and close with a tail, I guess you can call that. Straight line, retrace, start your first hump to the midline, give it a loop, and close. Now, once you get the hang of it, practice it. The worst thing that can happen is you get a hand cramp. All right, so this is a capital B. Size is a little bit tricky on those humps. You don't want to make your first hump over the midline or above it. All right. You can pause this video at any time to practice. As I said earlier, my recommendation is to just make them over and over again. All right, now, lowercase b is a little bit uncomfortable. And I was taught to start here at the baseline, but this one shows us starting just in the middle between the baseline and the midline. So let's practice. I start here because it gives me a better starting point. I start at the baseline. Up as if you were making an L, come back down, midline, and give it a little bit of a tail at the midline. Now, the instructions that I have, my cheat sheet shows to start here. It's really going to come down to what letter you're connecting it to when you start putting words together. At any rate, practice whichever way is comfortable. For me, that's starting at the baseline, slanting up. Now, your next stroke is backwards. You're not going forwards, you're actually going backwards to make the B. If you can do that, you've made an L. Back to the midline and give it a little bit of a tail. So basically, you're making an L, back to the midline, give it a tail. Baseline to top line, make an L, finish it off almost like a U, and give it a tail. So this, my friends, is a lowercase b. Practice a few lines, and I think you've got it. All right, easy peasy is a C. C's are very, very easy. Other than that loop at the top, which you would only make if it were a capital C, if you were writing a C at the beginning of a sentence or for a name. So here you go. C's are pretty easy. I guess I didn't technically finish that loop. C's are pretty easy. You could also forego the loop, make it a little bit easier. If you can make a printed C, you will do just fine making a cursive C. And the good news is, if you can make a cursive capital C, you can make a lowercase c. You do have to start with a little bit of a vertical line there at the midline, and then give it a tail. Start with a line and add your C. Not sure why that line is there, but it is, so we're going to do it correctly. Lowercase c. I think you've done it, my friends. Just a little bit of practice. All right, good job. Another smiley for you. All right, now let's try a D. Capital D's start at the top line and go down, and you have to add this little loop here before you close it back left of the first line that you made. So start at the top line, down, add this little loop, and then you're going to close it backwards. It's almost the exact opposite of a capital C. So let's practice these a little bit. All right, now remember, slant your paper either way, depending on if you're right-handed or left-handed. All right, make that first line from the top line down, add the loop, and cross back over. It's tough. This one's going to take a little bit of practice. Top line to the bottom, add a loop, add the hump to the D, and close it. Now, the D here doesn't show a loop. It just shows that you finished it past the first line that you made. Your option. Top to bottom, add a loop, and finish it here. All right. Top to bottom, top line to bottom line, add a loop, and then you move backwards to close the top of the D. This one will take you a little bit of practice, but once you get it, you'll be fine. All right, top line to bottom line, move backwards to make the loop, and then close it this way. Now remember, like I said, you can pause this video at any time to practice your letters. Lowercase d will not give you any trouble, I promise. A lowercase d is much like a printed D. You only need to slant it. All right, start just at the midline. Make a C, which you've already mastered. Now, at the bottom of your C, all the way up to the top line, back down, retrace that stroke, and give it a tail. So, start at the midline, make a C, but now close it by going to the top line, retracing that line back to the baseline. Make a C, close it by going all the way to the top line, back down, and giving it a tail, just like this. All right, my friends, I would love to see your practice. I've had many students send pictures of their lines of alphabet letters in cursive. So you should be pretty good with capital and lowercase a, b, c, and d. All right, I want to see your practice. Work hard, friends.